Hey, it's Tiffany Lorraine Galloway, certified high performance coach. I got a big announcement about the Resilient Mother podcast coming in 2025. We got to change. We're going to elevate this podcast and get it out to more people because we feel like the message is really important. How to be a resilient mother in these days, raise the next resilient generation, happy mom, happy children, happy homes. Because, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And so Catherine Tyson, Swivel, and I really hit it off, and she was on here twice, and I asked her and she said yes. So I now have a new co-host, and I love it because you're getting some wisdom here. We're not the youngest mothers at this point. So we've been around the block a bit, and we've also interviewed a lot of people and been out there doing things. And so we're going to be able to bring you all sorts of wonderful perspectives on motherhood with no shame, no guilt here. This is very inclusive. This is the idea of honoring motherhood because it's sacred. Whatever it looks like for you, you can make the most of it. And there is always hope. And we need hope today, don't we? So
more than anything.
Well, so Catherine, tell them a little bit more about you and how you found me and where we're going this year.
Well, so the incredible Brooke Young was who set me up on your podcast, and that was awesome. Like, she's incredible, like, honestly. And if anyone is in need of someone to help elevate their brand or get them out there, whatever that might look like, reach out to Brooke Young. She's very available. She's on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. That's a plug for Brooke, because she really is lovely, and she connects people and their synergies, and I really love that. And so you were one of the podcasts that she had set up for me. And she played the role as, like my publicist, which was amazing, and just helping me to tell my story, my stories really. And, I'm an author, as well as a public speaker, and I do a lot of things. Most recently, I'm a pageant national director. So I do a lot of things for empowerment and for women, and especially for moms, for mamas, and being a vulnerable single mother myself at a very young age, just my journey alone and where that's taken me and how I was able to kind of come out on top, with some amazing people that call me mommy. That's really a big part of my story, and how, I'm inspired to just help people that were in my position, or, struggling in some way and just feeling like you're not good enough, or feeling like you're not doing the right thing. And like you just said, everyone's included. Like, this is an absolute safe space. And I loved our conversation. And of course, as we were talking, as women do, other things came up. And so my love story came up, and that was me finding love at on the cusp of turning 50. I was like a month shy of 50, and I met a guy younger than myself, and never had that in my plan in my life. And somehow he became the love of my life. We got married. Yesterday was 7 years that we've been together. And we started over also because, I have 3 adult children, and he and I have a 2-year-old almost. So, and I think that that's very inspiring, just for women all around the world, and, just everywhere, just to know that, look, if it ain't done, it ain't done. You still got time, you got lots left in you, and just to stay hopeful. And so when I came on your show, and then I came back on and told my story, my second story, because we have so much stories, it was just really a beautiful experience, and I appreciated it so much. And so when you reached out to me, it was not anything that I could say no to, because I think it's such an amazing podcast. It's an amazing opportunity to speak with like-minded women, or to just help them come out of that dark corner, because sometimes we're in dark corners and there's no one to help us come out of those corners. And so I just love the opportunity to build a community, or to join a community, and to continue to build this worldwide community of women who are kicking butt every day, raising our babies, and just taking that serious. And that's what we need to do, because we're raising future people. So that's kind of a little bit of my backstory. I'm a social worker by profession, and I have a radio show. I currently live in the in the Cayman Islands. So I'm sorry about all you ladies who are freezing your butts off right now, but it is sun outside.
Yeah, it's cold here. We got some snow. So
Sorry.
well, and I love that you get the origin
Yeah.
of kind of
So
where I
yeah,
wanted
so
to
thank
go.
you.
Yeah, I'm so excited you said yes, because I
Sorry?
just felt like all the people who got it, you got it. Like you got the mission, where I wanted to go with it, how I wanted to build it, and to give a whole new kind of perspective that I can't give on it. The thing that's been so nice is to see a variety of very different kinds of mothers and guests come on here to kind of
Yeah.
show other people they're not alone. I mean, the idea of this kind of came out of my son and my story with him of the father's not in the picture at all. And I had to get through COVID pregnant alone with 2 kids going to school. I mean, impossible. I mean, impossible situation to be in,
Yeah.
and came out the other side. But during that, trying to find community that could stay positive, that wasn't going to play the victim, that wanted to elevate their motherhood, even though there were all these obstacles. I mean, there's all this shame that can be put around not having the ideal traditional situation, but that's far and few in between anymore. And it's not that we all don't want that, and that we all weren't promised that growing up. We're going to meet someone, we're going to get married, we're going to stay married. But even in those situations, motherhood seems to surprise everyone in one way or another, whether you have a special needs child or you discover you have some different things you need to work through. I mean, we all got stuff, we all got trauma somewhere in our lives, and that doesn't have to get in the way of our motherhood. So to me, the resilient mother is that mother who shows up, always shows up, is the center of her home, is that pillar of strength. That's what I'm striving for here. And I really believe every mother can have that. Every mother can show up the way that they want to, despite what they may be facing.
I believe you.
Enjoy it.
I agree 100%. My story is a little similar to yours. I found myself at 26 years old as a single mother. Like when I look at a 26-year-old now, like with 3 kids strapped to their back, I don't know what they would do, because right now they don't even know, they don't have a job. Like honestly, and I had the responsibility of 3 whole human beings, and I was not in my country of birth. So my mom and my support system, quote unquote, was in the Cayman Islands, and I was actually in Miami. And I worked that out. My baby was 6 months old. I think I just weaned her because I had to, because I was going to college. So I was just like, you can't be doing this. I can't be pumping at night. I'm sorry. And my boys were 4 and 5. And I was a 26-year-old, very vulnerable person that decided I'm not going to be vulnerable here. I got to take care of my kids. I have these 3 people that did not ask me to be here. And so I got to get up, dress up, and show up every single day, whether I feel like doing it, whether I have a smile on my face or not. I got to do it for these 3 people. And those were like my motivation. So by the time I was 30, I got my bachelor's degree, and that changed my life in that sense, that I now could get a decent job. I was a social worker. I got my bachelor's in social work. I was on my way to being a psychologist, and I just said, I'm going to have to start working right now, because my kids needed that. And and having looked back, I went back to school, got my master of social work degree. Had a really great career, and I was able to help my 3 kids go through university. So the last book that I wrote is called Powerful Not Pitiful, Single Mama, Powerful Not Pitiful. And that's exactly what I mean. It's exactly what you just said, is that regardless of what's happening in your life, you do have the ability to grab life by the reins and just ride it, right? And just create that life that you want. No excuses, show up even when you don't feel like showing up. And it's out there for you and for your kids. So I'm glad I was motivated by my kids, but our stories are also very similar. And the Powerful Not Pitiful for me meant so much, because there were so many times when I felt pitiful. I just felt like, oh my gosh, like what a wreck, like that wasn't my plan. I met this guy in church. Like, we were Christians. Like this was supposed to be forever. Right? We're supposed to be forever here. And for people to kind of look at me as if, well, what did you do wrong? Or being in the dating market and all those guys kind of thinking, well, that's too many children. I don't want all that, because when you're 26 and you got 3 kids, you're meeting a 26-year-old guy who's like, no. Sorry.
Oh,
You
don't
know,
even get me started about the dating scene right now. It's
listen,
real
we could have
interesting
a
to
whole
navigate.
series on dating. We need to have a series on dating. I'm not
Yeah.
joking, like seriously. We
Well,
need to have
when we
because
get
these
to
guys need to get it together.
I think March is Resilient Love, so we gotta make sure to do a couple special episodes on dating around that one. I think
Okay,
we had one last year, so we'll definitely have to hit that then.
I could write a
Definitely.
whole book. I could write a whole
Yeah.
book on dating because I always tell my single mamas, I'm like, listen, when you got one cute little kid, that's all right. But you go ahead and add a couple more to it. Be careful, and I'll tell young women when I speak to them at schools, like right now, your life is amazing. It's amazing. You have the whole world ahead of you. What do they say? The world is your oyster. You go ahead and put a baby into that world, put another one, that oyster kind of gets hidden in that
Yeah.
shell. Like you got to be digging.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to be digging. Like my oysters, I found was a life I could create for myself and my kids, but not some guy rode in on a white horse and saved me. Like
Yeah.
three
Nobody's
kids, did,
coming to save you. No one's
three kids,
coming.
three kids did not fit on that white horse for some reason. There was
I love
sorry.
that. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, though. It really
Listen,
is.
I used to get the all them for you, and I'm like, all of them's only three. What do you mean? I got that so much. Like I could write a book called All of Them for You.
Well, it sounds like we could do a couple books. Speaking of books, I'm writing my first one. I was a international bestselling co-author, sharing some of my story in a book called Thrive and Prosper with Wendy Silvers in 2021 or 22, and a couple other books around that time. And it did pretty well, but I decided I'm writing my own. And I did it kind of as a memoir first, and then realized I'm going to fictionalize it just to keep myself a little bit safe. And
Nice.
so it's going to take a little more time, but I'm in the Hay House Writing Group learning about that because I don't really know the industry. I was just fortunate to jump into a group where I just had to write the story. I didn't have to do all the marketing and everything except for share what was already provided to me. So I know that's a whole thing. So I'm working on that. Another new offering that we have is a weekly newsletter called Resilient Moms Rising. If you would like that, information will be coming out with that to subscribe to that. And we're going to include what the podcast episode for the week is. We'll have a monthly one announcing what's going on. There's a monthly challenge in there, tips on resilience, and we'll just keep adding to that. And that'll give you something to keep you going every week through the week. Definitely. And I created a new group called, there is the Resilient Mother podcast page, and we put our guests on there. But I want to build some community. And there's a community called Mother Shape the Future that kind of started all this as a summit. But I have a new group that's called the Resilient Mother Adventure. And that's going to be where we have more offerings, where we're going to post like events and different things. So we've got some new things coming in the new year and that we're building that we want to invite people along, not just to be a guest, but to be part of a real community. The bigger vision for this podcast is to have it be a worldwide network and support system for moms, to be what I was looking for that I couldn't find during COVID or just in general, looking for somewhere where we just elevate all mothers, respect all mothers, and help them become the moms that they want to be, because it's completely possible. Now, I use high performance habits, and that's why I got into the coaching, because I thought, well, if this coaching helps Olympians and presidents and celebrities, it can surely help me as a single mom of three if I know these techniques to like maintain my health and high performance at the same time, because I really don't have any other choice as a single mom. You are all things, which was a lot to take on. And then I've been single a lot longer than I thought I would be, so it's also that too. But we all got our stories. They're all different. We've had all sorts of moms on here, and we love you. We honor you. And this is the space for you.
Yeah, definitely. And, I have like my books. I'm creating a page right now where it's kind of like a quiz. You'll go on, you'll take a quiz just to see how you're doing or some of the tools that you might need. And for everyone who goes and takes that quiz, they'll get a free copy of my book, Single Mama Powerful Not Pitiful. So there's lots of good stuff, lots of good giveaways. I was actually listening to you about the book that you're writing, and I'm very excited about that. My first book, actually, the same story. I co-authored a lot of books. I contributed to a lot of books, and then I started to journal right after my single parent journey started. So I thought in my head that white horse was coming. Prince Charming was coming. He's going to save me. Going to be all right. Don't worry. I'm fabulous. They're fabulous. It's going to be great. Didn't happen 3.5 years later. And I was like, what's going on? And I started to journal. And so my journals over the years just became more and more and more. It was kind of like, well, this is funny, this happened. And then it was a resolution. And so I put the journals together and created a book called I'm Somebody's Mama. So it is a memoir, but it was a memoir about my experiences. But what I realized in the book, and that's what happens, titles change. I was asking you what your title was, but they change, right? So for the first, first couple of years, I thought it was going to be called this. And then I read it all, from cover to cover. And I realized that it needed a different name. And the name that came up from the pages was I'm Somebody's Mama. And the reason why that came up to me is because every single thing that I had written, every single resolution that I had gotten to was because I was somebody's mother. So, like I could have accepted that guy who didn't even need to be call my name, come to my house. But I was somebody's mother, so no. And I could have accepted, I could have stayed out late dancing. I love to dance, man. This is a great scene. This is cool. I could drink and have a good time. Look at me, right? But I'm somebody's mother. I got to get home. I have my friend who drinks a little bit too much when we go out. So she and I have a good time. She drove us there. No, you're not driving us back. I'm taking the wheel because I'm somebody's mother. So every single thing that I could have done, coulda, shoulda, woulda, I didn't because I was somebody's mother. So that's how serious, and I'm glad. I think grace of God, really, because how do you come up with this stuff when you're a young girl that's, ready to mingle, single or ready to mingle, and so I love that. And I feel like, all of us that are mothers, that is our first and last thought every single moment of our lives. We're somebody's mother. Yep. How do we behave with somebody's mother?
How do we want to show up as someone's mother? Yeah.
That's great, because we have these little people looking up at us like, you got this, right? You're still my mother. And regardless of whether dad has gone or whether he's around or whether he's supporting us or whether he's not, we are still somebody's mother. And so I love that club that we have. It's a club that we all just need to be a part of because we're already members anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And we don't have the old quilting circles that we used to have where women, we need to talk. And so, we got this platform where we can do that online now. We can share our stories. And that's why I think podcasts are so popular, and these opportunities where we can just share. And with us, we really want to bring you authentic and real and raw, just because that's really where the truth of it all is, and where you're going to find your truth of what's going to work for you. If you follow us through the next year, we do this thing called Resilient You. And that's where we get a theme for each month that happens to be 12 letters. And we start at the beginning with R for resistance versus resilience, kind of a reality check. Where's that point where you realize that you got to elevate yourself into some resilience? And then we go out through all the other letters. And at the end of the year, and you'll see this in December here coming up, we end with mastering your unique resilience. By the time you've listened to us, you're going to pick up other people's stories, what worked for them, what techniques they used, whether it was dealing with a teenager or healing their own trauma or whatever it may be. That's the idea here, that if you went into, there's 95 episodes right now in here already, you can find someone in there to relate to, or maybe someone that you need. And that's what we're building. So if you want to be a part of that, reach out to us, let us know. We're going to be looking for sponsors. We're going to be looking at new ways of doing this coming in the new year. So if you have ideas, you want to be a part of what this mission is about and who it's about to reach, we're open to that as we're gearing up for next year. But I really want to announce that I've got my co-host and that here we are. Yeah, this is happening.
Yeah.
So,
and if they have a story, or they know someone who has a story, just let us know, because we want to be all over that. And right now, I think we're starting with 1 or 2 episodes, but that doesn't mean that we can't grow. So the more stories we have, the more we want to share. So I think, come on, join the club. You're already part of the club, so join the club.
Yeah. Come share your story with us. So
sign up. Exactly. We are here to kick butt together, to be fabulous. Yeah. Fabulous and kick butt together. We need to put that on a mug or something.
Yeah. Oh, merchandise. Someday we'll get there.
That's it. It's coming, honey.
All right. Well, I got to jump off because I have children to go pick up. Speaking
You're
of children.
somebody's mother.
I'm somebody's mother. I got to go be mother. I got to go be the mother now. So, all right. Well, we'll be in touch again soon. Thank you, audience, for being here. And I'm just so excited to share this with you and come along with us on this journey. It's going to be so much fun.
Come on. Okay.